Uh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay, that was great. That was great. Is something wrong, Mr. Moss? You're staring at me strangely. Just thinking, just thinking. Even with my lousy slumber, a million ideas of my great escape were swirling round in my head. I see. So she's Asian, I'm guessing. I see. My name is Bella Yu. We momentarily met in the first floor hallway yesterday. Please follow me to the common room for breakfast. Yeah, I'm not gonna be that guy and just give her a thick Asian accent. Just, don't worry, I'm not that much of a dick. Eh? When did... She must have noticed the broken window. It's always been there. I'll make a mental note for someone to fix that. Yes, did anyone take care of Dorothy, by the way? Please tell me Kent took care of her. She wasn't just lying there all night. We stepped on the glass and wood fragments at the same time. Oh dear, there's a lot to fix in your room, isn't there? It's a bit dangerous here. I wish there was a better bedroom to move you to, Mr. Moss. If you'd like, I can bring another bed in for... No, it's fine. The less company, the better. The jam head. Oh yeah, I remember the jam head. Yeah. So this was the third floor common room. For the jam head. If I remember right, Thugzilla either participated in or created an object head game jam. I want to say created an object head game jam, and yeah, I forget her name, but yeah, a jam. Yeah, it was a jar of jam. Jam. Game Jam was the mascot for that jam. I've said jam a lot, but yeah, you get the idea. So yeah, it's nice to see her as a background character. So this is the third floor common room. Around 24 object heads were either eating, playing cards, or in line for grub. I may as well join the line, though I doubt the food will be any good. Bland cornflakes. I sat down at the emptiest table I could find, noticing the paper bag-headed man next to me was consuming a large pill bottle alongside his meal. Right, pills. I'll be forced to take them soon, right? Was there any way to wrangle my way out of that? I won't let my mind control me. I won't let the mind control me, not to mention I'll escape before they do. I picked pretty simple food, a banana, milk, and a protein bar. It'd been a long time since I drank milk. What am I, 7 and drinking to grow big and strong? Though the more I looked at my meal, the further my appetite faded away. I flashed back to yesterday and the furniture women. They weren't real people, just hallucinations taking on object-headed forms. Would my food in front of me do the same? I couldn't eat a banana-headed woman. Would that be considered cannibalism? I poked the milk carton with my fork. That thought just made me think of Sausage Party. The thought of the food coming alive and not wanting to eat it. Yeah, I just got Sausage Party flashbacks. I poked the milk carton with my fork. It wasn't changing into a person, thankfully. Was there something that triggered the transformation? If so, when would it happen? Don't be such a pussy, Manson. Just drink the milk. Freak. Look who's talking, diehead. Hi, King Dice. I had to get that out there. I just had to get that. I had to say it. Since I was not in the mood to eat, Bella escorted me to the nurse's office where Priscilla would be. A top hat head? That's cute. The syringe-headed woman lazily spun around her chair smoking a cigarette. Yeah, because we're in the 80s, so you're allowed to smoke indoors. Upon closing the door, she grounded against the ashtray. Outside the window, the sky grew dark. A storm was approaching soon. Welcome to my office, hon. How was your tour yesterday? Tolerable. Oh, I know, because I let it. I rolled my eyes as Priscilla stapled some papers in front of me. I took a closer look at the schedule passed in front of me. As said prior, you'll have to visit Dr. Acevedo 3 times a week, one-on-one. Group therapy will be twice daily, in the morning and late afternoon. Here's the schedule. Group therapy will always be at the same time, but you can choose to see Antonio before your first group therapy in the morning or at noon. If I saw Acevedo in the morning, I would get over it quicker, but if he's in the afternoon, I get to sleep in more. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love the UI design. I love it. Oh, especially this. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's a great slider. Good job with the sliders, Thug. Oh yes, we got the adult visuals on. Yes, I'm keeping on. This is exactly why I'm recording rather than streaming. But it's also nice to do it at my own pace, so there's that benefit as well. But yeah, I absolutely love the UI. Oh yes, we've got our CGs here. Yes, I was promised over 70. I was promised over 70 CGs. So, all right, sweet. But yeah, I love. Yeah, great use of the UI. I absolutely love the UI. But I did save, right? Yeah. Okay. Getting out of the way sooner or sleeping in more. I personally don't like sleeping in when possible, so I think I'm gonna go morning as a preference. Guess I had no choice but to get Acevedo's therapy over in the mornings. He's the one that ultimately controls how long I stay here, whether I like it or not. We're obligated by law to ask you some personal questions so we can better treat you. This is lame. Hence why I mentioned it's by law. Your rehabilitation here will officially start tomorrow, but after this, you'll be free for the rest of the day. Sound good? First question. Let me take a closer look. I forgot how terrible these were. Is there anything the hospital staff should know about that could trigger anxiety, depression, or other unwanted reactions? This is so we can avoid it, blah blah blah. Since my fear of ducks was too personal, I decided to tell her about aliens. 2 hours later. And so that's how I'll work with the CIA to take down Heaven's Gate. Aliens are nothing but bad news. Why would you ever want to meet one? Yep, I feel your pain. I feel your pain, Priscilla. Manson, that cult is halfway across the country. How are you going to get there? I'll think about it. Jeez, we've only filled out 2 forms so far. Boarded up, I guess that's something. Hours upon hours later, I stumbled out of the office groaning. Inside, I could hear Priscilla doing the same. Whoever invented bureaucracy should kiss my butt. Ah, so he's a libertarian. Good to know. When I returned to my room, the windows were boarded up. A pretty crappy job at that. I could stick my head through one of the exposed holes. Which head we talking about here? Ta-da! Good as new. But it's not fixed. We'll send some men to replace the panes. When the ward has the money. Bella left, freeing me to do whatever in my room. Aside from the fixed window and the floor clean of debris, one new addition to the room was a note on my bed. Was it from Acevedo or the other staff? As if I could read it. It looked like squiggles to me anyway. I bet it was something dumb like a housewarming invitation or whatever the dosage of my medication may be. I crumpled up the note, preparing to toss it out the boarded windows. Wait a second. I completely forgot about the pillow-headed weirdo. This is the exact window I defensitrated her from. I peered through the gaps. Nothing suspicious on the ground below. Where was she? Aw, how sweet. Dorothy wrote you a letter. It says she wasn't hurt, but she was transferred to a new room. Wasn't hurt? Bruh, that's okay. And that she isn't mad at you. What a lovely girlfriend you found. You should write her back. I'm glad Dorothy's gone, so you can spend more time with us. I jumped several feet in the air for my worst fears coming true. Shut up! She's not my girlfriend. I thought you all died. The trio chuckled. Did you think just because you destroyed our bodies we'd be gone for good? Yes, actually. Smirking, I swung a punch at them. My fist instantly phased through Mirror's head, much to the woman's amusement. Ah, so now they really are hallucinations. So Dorothy was real and I nearly killed her. I'm a fool. A monstrous fool. I fell to my knees. No can do, Buster. We're here to stay. I wish I had my arms back and my body. That way I could kick your ass 3 times over. Well, if physical violence couldn't harm them, that meant they couldn't hurt me either. It should be of utmost importance to find aluminum foil for constructing my hat. It's the most effective protection I wield against these telepathic projections. It was preposterous that the police confiscated mine. Surely this place used tinfoil. It couldn't be that hard. My first ever hat came from a crumpled dump sheet found in a dumpster. Are you really gonna pace around your room all day? What about your escape plan? Great, you can read my mind. If you have any idea of helping, I'm all ears. Otherwise, go back to being invisible, you stupid hallucinations. Hallucinations? What a cruel word. I thought we were your friends. I continued to plan and pace around until Bella summoned me for dinner. I was absolutely famished, so I ate a microwave soggy hamburger as quickly as I could. Heads be damned. Day 2 of progress. None. At least tomorrow I'll be able to see more of the ward thanks to group therapy and Acevedo. With nothing else I could glean, I headed to bed. Something wet was on my face? Oh yeah, the storm. The rain! Those boards did nothing to keep it out. No! I hope it doesn't snow anytime soon. It's spring. Well, then again, that doesn't mean anything. I live in the Midwest. That doesn't mean anything. It can still snow in spring. Room 309? I heard you. Today, the magical world of therapy began. My first handler would be Acevedo. Bella had woke me up as usual, though her tone sounded most displeased when she noticed I had not taken a shower since I arrived. Whoops, I forgot that was a thing. Hey, why are these showers so cold? The rustle knob only turned the water on and off. Nothing I could do for temperature. Ugh, I hate that. Are you trying to make my stay here as uncomfortable as possible? Whatever happened to rehabilitation? All patients shower in 15-minute blocks, so please hurry up, Mr. Moss. I barely had enough time to towel off. Not to mention my long hair was still dripping wet. All day today, I'd been bounced around like a ping pong ball, though my next target would be the dreaded therapy with Acevedo. I can handle people, but I hate doctors. Bella stood behind me, watching to make sure I'd open the door and come inside. Good morning, young man. A record player was playing in the background softly. I stepped into his office, amazed by how thick books lined his shelves. Well, there were far worse choices of people running therapy. I squinted at Bella, who was already leaving. A familiar orange bottlehead was waving me over. Do you remember who I am? We met the other day in your bedroom. Of course I do. It was Dr. Avocado? Dr. Avocado? I get that a lot. It's pronounced Acevedo. Would you like to pronounce it together? I know it's tough for some. I'll call you Doc. It's less of a mouthful. Did his wrapper just twitch? That's quite alright, Mr. Moss. Whatever makes you feel more comfortable. And speaking of more comfortable, let us sit down. You'll take the couch over there, and I'll sit in this armchair. Acevedo rested his weight in the armchair. He then gestured my future seat, as if I was about to win a fabulous prize. How have you been adjusting here? I changed my mind. I couldn't do this. One-on-one with him will be the end with me. Well, would you look at that? You're human again. Hello, handsome. Since I'm all cured, you can sign my release form and I will take my leave. I'll be waiting by the receptionist's office. Thank you, you're the best. I reached for the doorknob. Oh, that is wonderful news. Pray tell, what do I look like? What about my hair color? This guy was astute. Gray? Listen, I can tell you're nervous, so I do apologize if I am a cause. I imagine it has been stressful being placed in a new environment with its own rules and regulations. Even so, I am here to help you, and in return, you need to help me better understand your problem. Communication is essential as part of your therapy. I quietly sat down as Acevedo wrote down what I said. Don't worry, Mr. Moss, I won't leave you on a cliffhanger. My hair is black. My attention shifted to the large window behind us. I could see the brick arch that led to the exit. It was so close yet so far. Its visibility was a mockery in and of itself. I might have rushed into this too quickly, so let us introduce ourselves again. I am Dr. Antonio Acevedo, your psychiatrist. My role is to use a combination of therapy and medication to help patients form better habits, healthier mentalities, and improve your overall well-being. This has been my occupation for 20 or so years. And you are Manson Moss, my patient. Your role is far easier, though it requires work and an open mind. Any question I have, I would like you to answer. Not what you would think would please me, but from the bottom of your heart. We'll discuss said answers, and I'll give advice. By law, anything said between the two of us stays between the two of us, unless you are planning to hurt yourself or others. You can trust me. Acevedo straightened his tie and beamed, waiting for me to respond. I did not oblige. How about we end this session early? We'll talk more on Wednesday. Have a good day, Mr. Moss. I believe in you. I love this guy. Rolling my eyes, I sulked out of his office and into the common room. It was already lunchtime, and to no one's surprise, the mashed potatoes weren't mashed. They were clumps the size of eyeballs in my tepid bowl. Excuse me, I like my mashed potatoes to be lumpy. Like, yeah, that's how you know it's real. That's how you know it's authentic. I love lumpy mashed potatoes. Especially when you get a little bit of skin in there, just so you know it's authentic. Oh, yeah, I love it. I couldn't believe I had to be all mushy-gushy with a pill bottle. 3 days of this week until I was deemed ready for release. 3 days of this week until I was deemed ready for release. How would any of this cure my hallucinations? Shouldn't ridding the aliens and Duck's mind control of the staff be the staff's top priority? Nobody here is treating my issue with any urgency. Don't forget, sir, we have group therapy this afternoon. It's daily. Just slit my throat already. Like the day before, I found Acevedo in his armchair, happily waving to me. As I sat down on the couch, I noticed how well cleaned the office was compared to the other rooms, though the lavender air freshener couldn't completely mask the ward's ubiquitous smell of medication. In addition, a different vinyl was playing today. It sounded Italian. How have you been since our last time apart? Sunshine and rainbows. Acevedo clapped his hands with a chuckle. Did he believe my sarcasm, or was he ignoring the scowl placed on my face? How about we get to know each other more closely? I'll go first, and then you say as much as you're comfortable with. Let's see, it may sound hokey, but I enjoy long walks on the beach, classical music, and meditation. How about you? Dumpster diving, the moans of a cheap prostitute, and shoving anything inside me. It's a real fun story. I have a real fun story about a rusty pipe. I get the picture, Mr. Moss. You're certainly imaginative. Could you tell me more about these object heads? I believe you said I had a pill bottle? Yeah. While you're human form from the neck down, everyone else around me has an object head, no exception. Looks like one, feels like one, probably tastes like one. As if to test my outrageous claims, he stroked the side of his plastic head. I know it's absolutely bizarre to comprehend. It's been weeks and I'm still adjusting. Every time I shut my eyes and tell myself it's all in my mind, when I open them again, nothing has changed. I feel the universe cracked a cruel joke on me, but it's anything but funny. I understand your worries. Anyone would be distressed in your position, which is why we're getting you to the bottom of your predicament. Do you have a family history of schizophrenia? I don't know. Mom and Pop wouldn't talk about it if they did. Interesting. Schizophrenia can also be triggered by sudden stressors. Do you remember anything that would have caused your onset? Not much, but nothing out of the ordinary. Just poof! Inhuman heads and disembodied voices everywhere. I see. What about being on narcotics? I've taken poppers and Molly before, but I don't think I've had them in my system at the time. Acevedo was scribbling down every word I uttered. What does being high have to do with object heads? No comment. Thorazine should do the trick. Thor what? I'm starting you on some medication to help mitigate your hallucinations. Once in the morning and once in the evening. Don't ingest them on an empty stomach. Mr. Moss, these pills aren't a magical cure-all, but they'll make your life easier. We still have to work together to conquer your mental illness. I rolled my eyes with every sentence. For how long? For the rest of your life, so we can tend your schizophrenia forever into remission. Plenty of people have to do the same, such as those with epilepsy or bipolar disorder. Taking your medicine daily may sound arduous at first, but it will eventually become a habit. If not, the staff and I will help remind you until it does. I'll be monitoring the dosage and any potential side effects, and alter if needed. The mention of side effects brought me to a halt. Of course, there was always a catch. My predicament was getting worse by the minute. I was never told there were side effects. Like what, my brain melting away? Oh, minor ones, like headaches and the sorts. Nothing to worry about, I promise. With a clap of his hand, Acevedo stood up and opened the door for me. We had quite a productive day today. Good work, Mr. Moss. Until next time. Yeah, sure, next time. The next morning at breakfast, Bella called me over. Accompanying a meal of lumpy oatmeal was a colossal pill and a small cup of water. Mr. Moss, your medicine. Don't leave the line until you've taken it. What an ugly pale and crimson color, like blood on bones. Inside of the capsule was a white powdery substance. Acevedo really wanted me to take it? I'm not swallowing that. It could be poison for all I know. When Bella turned around to help another patient, I stuffed it in my pocket. Did you eat it? Look for yourself. I presented her with a grand tour of my mouth, flicking my tongue out, about to gross her out. Ta-da! Thank you. You can go back to your seat. I watched as other patients swallowed all sorts of pills, ranging from a handful to an entire truck's load's worth. Luckily, I just had a single antipsychotic, large enough to clog my throat. Group therapy was another activity I did not take kindly to. It was sickeningly sweet. Every day involved sitting in a circle, asking full-grown adults to spill their heart, while nurses interspersed the sessions with asinine aspirations. At first, Kent welcomed me with open arms and asked me to introduce myself, but after some crude stories about my past, everyone gave me as much personal space as possible. The topic for today involved Kent rambling on about being optimistic, but the only thing coursing through me was pure pessimism. I refused to pay attention. Every so often, I felt my belt. Geesh, having a stroke here. Every so often, I felt my back pocket to find my pill happily nestled there. If it could speak, it would be laughing at me right now. The contraband had to be disposed somewhere. I scanned around the rainbow vomit-colored room, settling on a trash can by the door. Good enough. Once therapy was over, I let the patients file out past me. Kent was too engaged with a conversation with Jones to notice me. I walked to the can, pill in hand. With a 180-degree swivel, Kent's blade faced me. Was he part owl? Sir, what were you throwing away? Gum? It's covered in my cooties, unless you're hungry enough to look. His eye hole squinted in suspicion. One of my duties is to monitor and take out the trash, just in case any patients try to dispose of paraphernalia like medication. But I know you would never do that. No, Scissorman, I'm as good as it can come. Great. Have a lovely day, Manson. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Yeah, we're gonna see him again relatively soon, aren't we? With every chipper tone, Kent skipped his way out the door. I scrambled too. Back in my bedroom, I held the dreaded white pill in my hand. Acevedo's conversation about us working together resonated in my head. Was following his stupid orders the only way to escape here? Yes. How stupid. Ultra stupid. Stupid pills. I closed my eyes and lightly kicked the pill. Wait, what? Oh, licked the pill. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, kicking the pill. Why did I think he was gonna kick it? Oh, God. It was like tasting detergent with a dash of rubber and a sprinkle of death. Pretty much how I expected. Remind me again why I did this? Aw, did the puppy not like his dessert? I imagine it tasted amazing based on your expression. Ha ha ha, I'm glad I'm not you. A familiar giggle made me groan. Why must they appear whenever I'm most exhausted? Can you ladies let me sulk in peace? I was almost caught. It shouldn't be that hard to dispose of a dumb pill. If you hate your meds so much, don't eat them. Simple as that. We won't snitch. The staff acts like it's such a big deal. All for what? A pill that causes you headaches? Isn't that awfully fishy? I wouldn't trust Acevedo if I were you. I don't trust him either. If I keep lying about my meds, sooner or later he'll let me return home. Can we come with you too, Manny? I groaned loudly before sinking my head into the pillow. Furniture gals were annoying, but Acevedo was less trustworthy. No way in hell would I be forced to take those pills. I'll sleep on it and figure out a better disposal plan tomorrow. Right now, my head hurts. Did I? Oh no, the voice volume's still up. So the voice volume is a little low. I ducked under the itchy covers. Shut up. Good morning, Mr. Moss. How is your medicine? Are you feeling any different, better or worse? Alright, I suppose. It may take some days to feel the full effects. Sure, whatever. Question, how fast would it take if I snorted it? Because the powder inside looks as tantalizing as cocaine. You should only ingest your medication orally. No snorting, boofing, or other creative methods. Mouth only. Killjoy. And now that you've gotten more situated, how about we dive into the meat of things? With this current school of thought, good and positive thinking will influence good behavior. Are you sure I need therapy? Please don't make me get on my hands and knees, Doc. Mr. Moss, I truly wish it was that easy, but we're supposed to work together. Let me understand what's going on in that mind of yours. The vinyl plating today sounded Spanish. The doctor must have noticed me staring as he lit up. Oh, this song is from La Vida Breve. I find opera to be my favorite musical genre. Do you listen to any? Only ear-splitting heavy metal. Interesting. A little about me. I was born in Puerto Rico and immigrated with my family to America when I was 10. Ever since I was young, they encouraged me to become a doctor. On the flip side, my younger brother became a lawyer. Isn't that fun? Please tell me it's not our lawyer. When we first met, you implied you had a poor relationship with your parents. Is this true? Are they aware of your diagnosis? You don't have to put it so politely, Doc. Fuck them. I hate them. It's none of their business. Acevedo flinched slightly from my cussing, but continued to write and nod his head. I sneered at his response. Hate is a strong word, but I really, really, really don't like you. Well, I feel it strongly. I have nothing to do with my parents anymore, and I'm glad I'll never see them again. That's all I want to say. Why does he care so much about my family? And he goes and brags about his own? Oh, look at me. I'm a darling goody two-shoes, beloved by all. Why can't you be more like me, Manson? Huh? I'm detesting him more by the minute. Maybe I'll pawn his vinyls off. When I get out, I'll at least buy me a month of cheap fast food. I could go for some hot food stand hot dogs. Understood. I appreciate you being honest with me. I won't press the issue any further. My apologies. I slouched down into the cushion, awaiting any further insults. A flock of birds flew outside the window. I wish I could join them. Could you tell me what your life was like, living as a vagrant? This was even more boring than I expected. It was just the same conversations in bull over and over again. Tell me about your insecurities, Manson. Tell me about any trauma. I promise I won't weaponize these secrets against you. Why won't you trust me? I was too insulted to answer any further questions. Open your mouth. Is my uvula that sexy? Another day, another fooling of Bella. I couldn't tell if she was blind or completely oblivious. Hey, the less she saw me sneak my pills in the pocket, the better. As I sat down, I caught sight of Acevedo waving, coffee cup in hand. It was humorous how much Doc's head resembled one. Ken sprinted across the room to meet him, trailing sparkles in the nurse's wake. I leaned in closer to hear their whispers. It's been a while, Doctor. I'm so glad I'm seeing you again. And the same to you, Mr. Goodman. They were so lovey-dovey, I thought they were going to make out on the spot. I could only handle so much cheesy sycophancy. Though, Doctor, you must already know with your busy schedule, but my group therapy is reaching capacity. Miss Harbinger manages the schedule and budgets, but when I asked her about hiring another nurse, she just threw her hands up and told me to bother you. That sounds like her. Has the director still not returned? No, sir. I'll scold some sense into her, but they may not have the budget. Worst case scenario, I could always help supervise or run a session. Thank you, Doctor. You really are the best. If there are any other troubles, please let me know. I trust everything else has been running smoothly with your sweet addition. I will admit there was a hiccup to at first, but Mr. Moss has integrated nicely. Nicely is certainly one way to phrase my actions. Though I haven't started any fights in group therapy, just yesterday I was bragging about all the drugs I snorted in alphabetical order. I don't blame him if he blocked that from his memory. Thank you, Mr. Goodman. Keep me updated on you-know-who. Acevedo patted Kent on the back and left. I scooted over to the nurse, who was still in La La Land. Have you known him for a while? Yes, you could say that. I look up to him. He's so perfect and smart and... Jeez, you're acting like he's your deity. You really think he's that good? Nothing suspicious at all? Of course, he's the textbook definition of perfect. Kent was nice to everyone. That didn't count. Surely there was someone out there who had as much contempt for him as I did. I decided to snoop around. Great personality, great looks. I'm sure Antonio is packing something great underneath, too. Fascinating. I'll keep that in mind. Right, I forgot he barely talked. Motorhead. I'm telling you, Kubrick helped NASA fake the moon landing. You believe me, don't you? Oh, I completely agree. It was the only way to win the space race. Glad I could trust you, comrade. I guess my doctor's alright, though I hate how he encourages me to read books about the real moon landing. Fake propaganda, I say. That was enough gathering intel for a lifetime. Was there a person here who wasn't an Acevedo fanatic? I don't want to be the only outlier in this situation. When I went back into my room, making sure no lingering eyes were there, I opened my desk drawer and released my clenched fist. The pill fell inside with a little pick. Lamp appeared on the bed, kicking her legs and laughing. Chair and mirror popped behind her and giggled in unison. I'm sorry, I just gotta get it out at this point. I really appreciate you have a dark-skinned, ripped woman. I just gotta say it. I'm glad the addition is there. I'm glad I had to get that out there at some point. Great, you three are back. If you're gonna make fun of me, how about you make them yourselves? I'm allergic to pill capsules. You couldn't make me take medication if you pointed a gun to my head. Gee, thanks for the help. You're hiding your meds in a desk? The nurses monitor the trash cans. I don't have any better options. This constant observation is oppressive. Everyone says Acevedo is so great. No, he's creepy and intrusive. Thinks he's all high and mighty, lording his freedom over his captives. I can't wait till he gets knocked down a peg. By the end of my rant, I was huffing and red-faced. They drank in every word. I see. Let it all out. The staff here aren't the brightest bulbs, but neither are you. Do you need a hint? What are you talking about? You were almost a pawn in Acevedo's grand scheme. You were smart for refusing his mind-controlled junk. You're safe. For now. Mind-controlling? Is that what those minor side effects are? I didn't know what brought greater fear. Side effects or mind control? Miro cackled upon seeing my paling face. Oh, I'm surprised you didn't deduce it sooner. Why else would Acevedo be so obsessed with you? Or why everyone loves such a monster? Oops, we said too much. Sweet dreams, Manny. Chair waved as they vanished into thin air. Wait, don't leave me on this cliffhanger. Come back! I paced and paced around the room to ponder what they said. The truth made too much sense. These mind-controlling pills are identical to the logo on Acevedo's wrapper. Ergo, the doctor was in cahoots with the aliens. The Gazorp were the manufacturers, the ducks the transporters, and Acevedo the distributor. This whole ward was a testing facility, and I was their newest victim. Oh boy. I had fallen perfectly into their slimy tentacle hands, and there was no tinfoil hat to protect me. I wailed. Ah, Manson. Play it cool, Manson. Don't reveal that you know the truth. This forbidden knowledge had me jumping at every shadow. The patients around me were akin to blind sheep. For the first time, I felt sorry for them. Acevedo's spies were no better. Their eyes were everywhere, making sure everyone was gorging on their mind poison. Those fools. Would you like another cup of water, sir? I know nothing, you fiend! The pill man's deception truly ran deep. Not a soul in the ward so seemed to think anyone untoward was at hand. The clock ticked closer to my doom. Therapy. I protested the staff's efforts. I truly did. Unfortunately, Acevedo's minions restricted my autonomy by dragging me to the slaughterhouse. Could you stop clinging to my leg, Mr. Moss? I'm not paid enough for this. Her avarice would be her downfall. Acevedo had to be biding his time. He was too calm and collected. Meanwhile, I was too nervous to take a seat. I was expecting my couch to be, when sat upon, to chain me up for an examination. Is everything all right? You look uneasy.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Don't panic, Manson. It's just us.
Oh boy. I heard the furniture's voices rattling around in my skull, clear as day. What are you doing in my head? Unlike their dialogue, mine came out loud. Excuse me? I mean, what will you do about my head? Everything possible. That's what I'm here for. That was too close for comfort. Acevedo knew I could hear these swarming flies, I'd definitely be alien stew. We saw you struggling today and concocted an idea. Escaping. You don't have time to wait it out. Let us guide you. Here, I'll just do this.
You really let yourself become his lab rat. That's not the Manson we know.
That's better.
What if he's planning to cut into your brain? Or worse, what if this hospital performs lobotomies? I don't want to see a Manson zombie.
4 heads are better than 1. If you want to escape here alive, listen to us. As reluctant as I was to admit it, the women had a point. Nice does not always equal harmless. Manson, please talk to me if something is wrong. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. Is there anything I should fix? Hurry up and crack his brain before he cracks into yours. Literally. Find out if he's deficient in anything. Do you have any weaknesses? Well, I have a propensity for being neat and tidy, perhaps more than necessary. It takes me an hour to brush my hair every day. This one-sided game of telephone was absurdly difficult, but we should find his breaking point eventually. Ask if he's allergic to anything. Huh? Allergies? Me? Not that I'm aware of, aside from seasonal pollen. Why are you asking? That was a dumb question. No, it wasn't. Maybe we can induce an allergic reaction to permanently take him out. Do you know how many people die every year from bee stings? He just said he had no allergies, including bee stings. Do you not listen? I had no idea who was talking to who anymore. Forget one-sided. How was I supposed to interact with 4 people at once? Exasperated, I said what was exactly on my mind. All of you are dumb. I'm beginning to think you're talking to someone else. Who is it? Not us, not us. Quiet! Stop talking! I can't hear myself think! The room indeed fell silent. The furniture fled while Acevedo rubbed his temples. I'd inquire further, but we are running out of time. How about we meet tomorrow instead of 2 days? Sure, whatever. Just shut up. That went disastrously. Your mind is too weak to be spoon-fed simple questions. If that is too hard, we could be a pair of eyes for you instead. Let's find any weaknesses in the ward itself. I looked both ways before slipping out of my bedroom. The cool spring air felt great in the evening. It's gonna be so exciting once you're free. What will you do first? Eat some of my home-based cooking. There's a pizza I stole shortly before the cops got me. Do you think it's still good? I doubt it. Ew, not unless you want to meet your maker. We slunk around patrolling nurses and guards, hiding when needed in the shadows. This place was truly a labyrinth with its towering ceilings and sprawling halls. Check for any exits and unlocked doors. Nope. If it's one thing the nurses are skilled in, it's locking crap up. We passed by the therapy rooms. I peeked into the door window to Acevedo's office. The ceiling lights are off, but the window shone moonlight upon the chairs. The soft glow would have been pretty if it weren't for his damn office. If you break into the files, you could forge yourself a release letter. Sounds promising, but I can't imitate a doctor's handwriting. It's all gibberish. Right behind you. Right behind you. Not a moment after, Randall picked me up on my sweater's collar. What are you doing out this late? I got lost? My butt was tossed into the bedroom floor. The furniture woman curiously studied me from above. You left me out to dry. Whoops. Sorry. You should have been faster. Screw you. Security may keep a closer eye on me after this. How am I supposed to break out now? Acevedo said this hospital was only for people like yourself. What if we got you transferred to a medical hospital, preferably a low-security one? If you're asking me to seriously injure myself or something worse, no way in hell. Oh, good heavens, no. It's bad news for us if you die, so we won't let that happen to you. Could you contract tetanus? I already have my shot. Damn, I thought that was good. Shoving the two aside, Chair sprinted up to me. Her stubby arms flailed around. Oh, I know. How about getting your stomach pumped? You're not entirely useless after all. I'm surprised my stomach hasn't already been pumped with how crummy the food is here. Is there anything you can ingest? I peered into the table. Yeah, pills. There is one way. There is one. Greetings and salutations, my bottle-headed companion. I welcome thy arrival with a grandiose bow. Today I shall put on a spectacle of delights for your eyes only. I chuckled upon seeing Acevedo's twitching wrapper. From a recluse to a showman, the only predictable thing about me was my unpredictability. I would make sure Acevedo was always kept on his toes. Manson, could you reserve your spectacle for after our therapy? Nonsense! For my first trick, I shall pull a bar of soap out of thin air. With a flick of my wrist, my obsolescent wand appeared. Where did it come from? Nobody knows. I was skilled with my hands in more ways than one. My services should be sold to birthday parties. I don't trust you around children, Manson. That's all I'll say. Back and forth, I traced the bar across this site. Voila! And for my next trick, watch me down this whole bar in the blink of an eye. If Acevedo had a jaw, it would be dropping. Don't you dare. But dare I shall. I swallowed it in one go. Tasted leagues better than my... Oh my, Manson, what else does that throat hold? Oh, not even gonna call 911? Can't bother to leave his chair? This shrink was on the... Wait, so was that his plan? The soap? Was the soap his plan? I'm awaiting my round of applause. Acevedo sprinted onto the couch. Both of his knees pinned my legs down while his hands pinned my arms. I can't move. He's stronger than he looks. I shook my head and bared my teeth. Gah! Acevedo leaned in closer, his pill cap nearly touching my forehead. Now, Manson, don't make me open your mouth like a dog. Take the soap out or I'll do it for you. No. Manson, you will take that soap out of your mouth. No. Acevedo's eyes twitched, still trapping my knees with his legs. One hand forced my mouth open, the other one reached into my mouth. Will you hold still? Despite my furious thrashing, I was no match for Acevedo's strength. In retaliation, I further swallowed the soap, and then had a coughing fit. He shoved his hand further, almost entering my esophagus. I did it! Doc looked downwards to spot my horrified face. I just meal, Manson, I'm so sorry. I usually control myself very well. A meter's worth of arm slid out of me. He got up from the couch, allowed me to cough for more from the forceful entry. Sorry, I'm going to take a walk to clear my head. He hung his head and quietly opened the door. Manson out. Oh boy. Belle? Okay, I'm gonna let that one slide, but Bella dragged me by the leg to my doom. I clawed and clawed at the ground to escape, but my nails only left dragging marks across the tiles. No, I don't want to go. He's a madman. A madman. Dr. Acevedo is no such thing. What an awful thing to say about him. Bella threw me into the room. Acevedo wasn't there. I stared at a golden disc on his bookshelf. That's one of his opera discs, and it looked like a pretty penny if I ever get my hands on it. I reached my hand out to grab it for a second, but a second thing caught my eye. His computer. Hasn't he typed on one before? Please help. I am being held captive by a pill-headed maniac.
Syntax error. Beep boo.
How am I supposed to work this?
Syntax error. Beep boo.
Yeah, so yeah, this is 86, was it? So yeah, I guess computers are relatively rare. I'll syntax error you when your wires are pulled out. Now work!
Syntax error. Insult does not compute, Manson. Beep boo.
It's alive? Oh boy. In the blink of an eye, a smirking computer head popped into existence. The sight was so ridiculous, I was surprised that magical smoke and sparkles didn't accompany him.
Of course Chad is. Were you too stupid to notice?
Hey, who do you think you're talking to?
A fool, obviously. Why else would you put your grubby little fingers all over Chad? When was the last time you bathed?
I'm getting Courage the Cowardly Dog vibes right now. Not even 5 seconds old and he's already an asshole. So he must be an inanimate like the furniture women. Does that mean they could appear at literally any time? Turn back into a computer, dang it, I don't have time. If Acevedo saw me talking to his computer right now, he'd probably tack several years to my sentence.
It is illegal to access unauthorized information. Chad cannot let you do this.
And who's gonna stop me, huh? Huh? The computer was too heavy to pick up, so instead I grabbed his head and sunk my teeth into it. It did not go far. Though the hard plastic was almost tough enough to crack my teeth, this was the only way to stop the hallucination. Yeah, now Acevedo walks in. Just you wait. You won't make a clown out of me.
Idiot. Let Chad tell you of how much you are truly an idiot. There are over 100 million miles of paper-thin circuits inside of me.
Are you really going with an AM reference?
If the word idiot was engraved on each nanoatom of those millions of miles, it would not equal 1/1 billionth of what an air-headed, yellow-bellied, short bus-riding idiot you are.
You really had to pull an I Have No Mouth and I Both Scream reference. I love you.
Idiot. Beep boop.
I chomped and chomped, fighting for dominance. While I was slowly making my way through the yawning computer head, the door flung open, catching me in the middle of the act. Yeah, we don't even get the visual of him launching the computer. Come on. 20 more years of retirement, Antonio. You can do this. Doc! My computer. You are currently eating my computer. Oh, we do get the visual. I looked down where the man I was fighting had already reverted back to his original, though broken form. Maybe I was a little too rough on the chopping. Continue eating or apologize. I don't know. Do I assert dominance? Do I assert dominance if I continue to eat it, or do I apologize? I'm gonna apologize. That was rude. I can explain. Manson. He stomped his way to the computer, forcibly unhinging my jaw from the side. You little... He roughly grabbed my shoulders, his head too close to mine for comfort. Why do you keep doing such things? You're ruining the impeccable Acevedo's reputation and insanity again and again. Sorry. Upon realizing his eccentric actions and seeing my nervous face, the man's arms went flaccid. No, control yourself, Antonio. I'm sorry for losing my temper again, Mr. Moss. You can leave. I will clean up the mess. I love how every time Manson's in therapy like this, he's got a cat mouth. I love how Jones is just playing with a Rubik's Cube. That is just so 80s and so adorable. Acevedo was an enigma. Despite being calm and cordial on the outside, his freakouts were grand yet disturbing. Yeah, that's me. That's me in a nutshell. I'm generally calm and collected, but I have my moments. And yeah, I regret them afterwards, but yeah, if I'm put under enough pressure, yeah, it's not pretty. Personally, I didn't consider eating soap enough to drive someone insane. How has individual therapy been for everyone? Mine sucks donkey balls. Same. And me. The hurled vitriol to a profession the nurse respected did massive damage to his esteem. His blades drooped and he twiddled his thumbs in an attempt to find a retort. Oh, but not all are bad, says the guy who wasn't shaken senseless by a bottle-headed madman. I still felt my brain rattling around. Your doctors are trying their hardest to help you. No process is perfect, but at the end of the day, everything will be okay as long as we tried. Whatever you say, Scissor Man. As soon as I left therapy, I heard a droning thud. Rounding the corner and down the alleyway, I caught Acevedo banging his head against the wall. I legitimately was left speechless. I can do this. I'm perfect after all. Absolutely no flaws. If I can't, no one can. So he's got a savior complex. I get you. He slammed his head again and again. A decent dent was forming in the wall. Kent's speech echoed in my head. Yeah, perfect indeed. Perfectly bizarre. Perfect indeed. Perfectly bizarre. Though I was curious if he would burst his head through the entire wall, I must have caught his attention as his head slowly turned to face me. Even with no eyes, I felt a freezing glare pierce through my heart. I ducked behind the corner. Doctor, why are you doing that? What are you doing to that wall? Nothing at all, Mr. Goodman. Just lost in thought. I'll be going now. He jogged away, not for tripping over an untied loafer of his. How on earth did I get stuck having therapy with him? I began walking away in the opposite direction. Suddenly, something shiny in a nearby trash can caught my attention. Was that tinfoil? Oh, frabjous day. I dove into the trash, claiming my prize. This will do nicely, Manson. Great find. We can utilize this for our escape. Don't fail us this time. I don't intend to. Oh boy. Tinfoil, the armor of champions, the savior of mankind, and most importantly, the vanquisher of aliens. If only Acevedo also saw the light. I sat on the couch, kicking my legs and grinning. I felt calm with my protective gear on, allowing me to answer any question he threw my way. At first, Acevedo ignored my hat. Then he began staring. For whatever reason, it was deeply bothering him. Please take it off. No, finders keepers. Are you trying to instigate? Nope. Don't like? Don't look. The tinfoil protects me against the alien's mind control. Straightening his tie in preparation, he turned to stare at me. Mr. Moss, there is no other polite way to put this, but are you aware that aluminum foil does nothing to protect your brain from telekinetic forces? What are you talking about? Of course it works. Why, I would say the metal amplifies the electromagnetism due to the metal's conduction. Yeah, I never understood that logic, if I'm being honest, because he's kind of right. I don't believe you. You're making up science mumbo-jumbo to scare me. It'll start working any minute now. Now, sayonara, object heads. Then I shall wait. At the words, throw it in the recycling, please, or pass it to me so I may do so. Wah! Where's your proof? Common sense. The pill-headed man walked over to me before stretching an arm out and stealing my precious tinfoil hat. It was an unfair advantage with his height. You fool! What have you done? I assure you I mean no harm. This is for your own good. My hat! Give me back my hat! I lunged at it with all my might. Acevedo had seized the tinfoil hat, but at what cost? Oh jeez, here we are. Taking a page from a perverted sitcom, I fell right on top of him, forcing him to an embarrassing position. Why is his belt unbuckled? Why is his belt unbuckled? How did that happen by falling? Still reaching for the hat only made things worse. From all of our commotion, his pants and part of his goofy-looking underwear slipped off his hips. Huh. Tighty-whitey suit him. He wasn't kidding when he said his hair was black. Look at all that hair. Oh my gosh, is he really? Oh my gosh. Oh, no judgment. I know, as a man, I assure you, I know they happen in the most awkward situations, but my goodness, Acevedo. Mr. Moss, please get off. Wow, that almost pleading tone was doing wonders to my tightening crotch area, and based on the friction against mine, he felt the same way? We were frozen in place, inches from each other's face and crotches grinding onto each other, unsure of what to do. I never noticed how nice he smelled up close, like pine. Dr. Acevedo, your next patient has arrived. I had never sprinted so fast out of a room before. Yeah, how do you come back from that? The next day, I was standing and rubbing my arms while Acevedo was pacing around the office. The awkwardness in the air was so thick it could cut it with a knife. All I wanted was my dang hat. I took a peek at the trash can by the door, but it was not there. I'm sorry. That was wrong of me. All of this was. For heaven's sake, Manson, I'm your doctor. Not to mention that you should only do it with the one you love. It's all my fault. I'll find you a new doctor and pretend this never happened. Dr. Schwartz used to be a psychiatrist for the military. A little tough, but he'll help whip anyone into shape. A far better job than what I could have done. Already in my head, I was imagining a write-it-out Whistlehead. I had zero interest in meeting the sergeant from hell. I wasn't a chew toy to be passed around. We can increase your dosage, keep a closer eye... No. I'm innocent in this. I was only following the future furniture women's orders so we could escape. They coerced me into swallowing soap, so blame them, not me. I ate your computer because it was a witness. Wearing tinfoil was the only way to defeat the Gazorpklops. So can you please call off their attacks before you lobotomize me, Doc? Acevedo was left speechless. His clipboard tumbled to the floor. Where do I begin? Could you start from the top, please? Only if you promise not to lobotomize me. I don't want to be your zombie. I had to throw the furniture women under the bus. Better them than me. I was in tears as my dam of emotions burst forth. Something must have clicked in Acevedo as he regained his composure. His tone softened as if talking to a child. Are you worried you're in danger? I'm sure that dealing with the furniture must have been frightening. I nodded fervently. Don't worry, I forgive you for all of your little incidents. They were easy enough to clean up. Besides, lobotomy is a barbaric practice that has been outlawed for over a decade. You're safe, I promise. I'm glad you decided to confide in me, Manson. How about we continue our meetings? We'll keep it a secret from the furniture women. Help me understand what is going on. He held out his hand. It wasn't a slimy tentacle, just a normal human hand. His wrapper was raised in happiness. Tentatively, I shook his hand. Have a good day, Manson. Please don't get into any more trouble. Yes, sir. You told him? You rat! The three had me cornered against the wall and closing in fast. You ruined our plans! How are we to escape now? What other choice did I have? Keep your damn mouth shut and listen to us. That was weeks of plannings you ruined in an instant. You hated him, and understandably so. So why are you buddy-buddy after seeing his crotch? I thought he was cute. Is sex the only thought rattling around in that pea-sized brain of yours? If I beat them in a fight before, then I could do it again. With a stamp of Lamp's foot, searing pain coursed my brain. I yelped and gripped my head, tumbling to the floor.
Stop acting like you're terrified of us. We're hurt. Hurt, I tell you. Nothing good will come out of you getting close to him. We're your friends, Manson. It's us against this alien-infested world.
Isn't friendship supposed to be a two-way street? I'd rather spend 1,000,000 years with a doctor than you demons. At least he doesn't berate me at every waking moment.
As you wish. Enjoy your escapades for now. But we'll be back. And you better be groveling on your knees. We will savor this moment.
Oh boy. When I finally recovered from my blistering headache, the women were gone. Again, I apologize for my unusual behavior. Let's wipe everything that's happened these past few weeks and start anew. Acevedo patiently sat on his seat, waiting for me to acclimate to mine. I was still uncertain about babbling to this pill bottle, but he looked much calmer since our more tremulous sessions. Talk to me about whatever comes to your mind, no matter how serious or silly. And you promise you won't laugh? I pinky promise. Oh, that's how you know he's serious. Okay, so, are you an alien? Not at all. I am 100% human, just like you and the other patients here. The doctor held out his wrist for me to touch. His fingers were long and slender, tapering to a perfect manicure. My furniture told me that you were the mastermind, experimenting on everyone with mind-controlling drugs. Is that true? Of course not. But if we were, why would I experiment in such a dinky hospital? Wouldn't it be better than an underground bunker surrounded by scientists? And you're not lying? Correct. I only want to seek the truth and what is best for you. Tell me about these furniture women. Do you trust them? Are they aliens? They're my furniture, literally. Chair, mirror, and lamp. I never trusted them. I was aware that furniture were in my head, but it's just they knew what made me tick. Every time I was scared, they made me feel better. I have an idea. Let me teach you my breathing exercises. If those voices of yours become unbearable, a bit of meditation will calm your mind. Meditation? I ain't a spiritual person. I promise it's better than it sounds. It got me through many stressful events in my life. I can honestly attest that, being through a very stressful event in my life relatively recently, years ago, breathing exercises actually go a long way. They really do. I shut my eyes, allowing myself to be swallowed by the void. Let all your tension you've been storing release. Breathe in and out. Repeat to yourself that everything will be okay. The road may be bumpy and winding, but there is an end in sight. Without the furniture women constantly breathing down my neck, my mind felt clear. It was relieving to finally think in peace. I just had to breathe in and out. There is an end in sight. My eyes opened to find Acevedo clapping. See, doesn't it feel good talking it out? It does. Fantastic. You made a substantial amount of progress today, and I would like us to continue. Again next week? I smiled. Sure, Doc. Good for him. I'm legitimately happy for him. Good job. Thus began our back and forth interview sessions. With every concern the furniture had brought forwards, Acevedo had the perfect counter. Priscilla's head is a syringe, Kent is scissors, Randall has a gun, Jones is a drawing board, and Dorothy is a pillow. Who are the latter two? Patients, I know. Oh, how great for you to make friends. I wouldn't call Dorothy a friend, but whatever. Yeah, you had such a good first impression. Nor did I have any friends. I was perfectly fine by myself. You've mentioned that your hallucinations manifest as an object head on an otherwise human body, but could you draw one for me? Let's see, I believe I may have some crayons lying around here, somewhere back when I was a youth psychiatrist. Take as long as you need. I'm no Picasso, but sure. I wasn't any form of artist. Toddler could have drawn better. Acevedo gave a long, hard squint at the amorphous blob. Interesting. So that is my pill bottle head. The wrapper's red and white pill design that resembles your Thorazine medication. Freaky coincidence? Maybe, but it's an interesting dive into your subconscious. And how would you draw yourself? He passed me another piece of paper. I already drew my stick figure legs and arms with confidence, but when I realized what was next, I began to sweat. I can't do it. I can't. What's wrong? You had no problem drawing me. My head is a rubber duck. I can't draw my greatest fear, Doc. The rubber duck? I don't understand. You know, a rubber version of the bird, one that quacks when you squish it. What the orange puppet sings about on TV. Rubber ducky, you're the one. You have anatophobia? What? Sure, whatever. Just don't laugh at me. That's what my head is. I can't remember the last time I looked at my reflection. I used to have a mirror, but it got destroyed. My first day here, to be specific. I can always put you on exposure therapy to desensitize you to your fear. I refuse to meet any ducks. They work with the aliens. Alright, I'll move on, but don't let me forget. How about I draw you instead? I certainly don't see a rubber duck in front of me, just a clever young man with brown hair and purple eyes. I'm not the best drawer either. Give me a moment. After several minutes, Acevedo presented his work, though it would have been more apt to say masterpiece. Each stroke upon the paper skillfully presented my shredded clothes and pale skin, yet I looked beautiful. Only now had Acevedo been able to coax out my underlying beauty. I was almost brought to tears by the radiant canvas. When my emotion subsided, I took a closer look at my face. Or there should have at least been one. And indeed, instead of a human face gloriously rendered, a rubber duck was there. Its beady eyes beamed at me, encouraging me to revel at its creation. I hissed at the monstrosity. To think they could appear in drawings, too. Duckhead! Get away from me! Get away! Mr. Moss, it's just a drawing. Please, calm down. Acevedo pulled the canvas away before I could chuck it out the window. The ducks are working with the aliens, forcing me to see object heads. I want my tinfoil back. Intermission. We'll be right back soon. Oh, that is such a cute little chibi. Yeah, I love how you absolutely are treating this like a TV series or a movie or something. I do love that approach. Because that's the approach I take with my visual novels. Try to replicate like a cinematic experience. The weeks flew by as I grew more and more comfortable around him. My soap privileges were somewhat revoked, so my showers were temporarily supervised by Randall. A shame he refused when I asked for a helping wash. Don't get any ideas. I'm only at your office early so the nurses won't drag me here. With a chuckle, Acevedo ruffled my hair. Ah, I don't want your nerd germs. Our tinfoil mishap was not brought up again, possibly for the best. It was hot to reminisce over, but like Acevedo said, he was my doctor, and I was but an innocent patient. Today I was bored in therapy. Mega bored. So bored that I stood up from our conversation and began looking through Acevedo's shelves. Ugh, barely anything with pictures. I pulled out a large textbook, heavy enough to crush a foot. I'm pleased to see you're taking an interest in my DSM. I own every single edition. A DS what? I'm glad you asked. It stands for Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, which psychiatrists use to blah 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 blah. Everything he blabbered about went over my head. This man was a grade A dweeb. Blah 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 blah. And that is why homosexuality was thankfully removed as a mental disorder in the 3rd edition. To provide you a brief overview. Manson, what is your level of education? High school? College? I don't want to talk about it. Why not? What happened? I had no idea why he cared so much. Street smarts always beat book smarts. Not always. You need an equal amount of both. I dropped out of high school. Education and I do not pair well together. I'm sorry to hear that. Everyone called me an idiot because the words in the books and board made no sense. I didn't need any teachers anyway. I was held back a lot in school. I only moved grades because the teachers were sick of me. Well, I don't find you an idiot. And do not fret. The ward has programs to help patients achieve GEDs, and I can always personally tutor you. I grumbled. This was seriously dredging up bad memories. The DSM is rather advanced, so let's start small and build our way up. Reading is oodles of fun. I sat at the desk as Acevedo dragged his chair to me. In his hand was a children's book. Baby bitch level, how humiliating. Oh hell no, I'm not reading that. Okay, perhaps you need more motivation. He rummaged through a desk before pulling out a box of sweets. For every page we read together, you earn 1 chocolate. Deal? No, you can't bribe me. I'm offering you a carrot. Don't make me bring out the stick. No patient of mine will walk out of this room being illiterate. No, I don't need no education. I don't need no thought control. Acevedo's wrapper was twitching so rapidly I was afraid it would rip in two. I have a second drawer for confiscated patient materials. There are some tools that I'd prefer not to use on you. The doctor took my scowl as consent. He stomped to the drawer, unlocked it, and pulled out a rope. I did not want to ask why a patient possessed industrial-grade rope. This is your last chance. Instead of arguing, I scrambled for my seat. Acevedo tackled me, binding my hands together. He tied me up. He frickin' tied me up. I angrily rocked back and forth on the chair. Will you sit still now? I didn't know you were into bondage. Humorous. One way or another, you're going to learn how to read. Read the book. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, that was great. That was great. Honestly, joking aside, that's actually a very good recreation of the actual art style from Dick and Jane. But wow, that was great. He flipped open the book and pressed it against my face so hard that all I could see were demented children's illustrations. Yeah, I'm just thinking of the Boondocks right now. I sure as heck am not saying the quote, so
Read, nigga! Read!
Yeah. Whoever designed those heads had a sick sense of humor. Ah, Dick and Mary Jane, one of the finest pieces of pediatrical literature. Shall we begin? I don't wanna. Dick has a ball. The ball is black. Does Mary Jane want to play with Dick's black ball? I hope Mary Jane chokes on him. Dick is my favorite. Oh man. Dick is my favorite. I'm sure you'll enjoy it too if you came in and After all this is what's making me lose it. Dick great for children. Acevedo, the younger the better. Acevedo, no. No, please. Now the fact that you were a children's psychiatrist makes me scared. Oh. Why would you say that? Yes, thank you, Manson. I'm referring to the book, Mr. Ross. It's 10 o'clock. Our time is over. Free me, free me. Acevedo looked at the clock, then my tied-up self. He seemed horrified at repeating his former freakouts, but I broke the tension by laughing. He relaxed, too. Though the next time I went in, the same children's book was lying on the desk. Acevedo crossed his arms and tapped his feet. Uh-oh. Let's finish. I reached for the doorknob, but Acevedo's pill stare bored in my mind. Who knew what would happen if I escaped? Yes, sir. Good boy. After lots of complaining, we eventually finished the book. POWs had it easier than me. Acevedo put another one on the desk, though slightly larger. Oh, come on. If there's any porn mags in the confiscation drawer, could we read those instead? Looks like everything was back to normal. Maybe. I felt awful today. Really, really awful. My body was burning up. My throat was sore. My head hurt. I groaned when my door was knocked on. Room 309? It's time to wake up. Go away. She knocked on the door again, but this time I did not respond. I didn't want to get up. All I wanted to do was sleep. I've been sick when out on the street. This is to be expected. But I could just sleep it off in a comfy dumpster somewhere or shoplift from a pharmacy. I don't want people to talk to me when I'm in the middle of my suffering. Manson? Why was he here? I rolled the other direction, refusing to face him. I was in no mood to see him. Are you alright? Fine as can be. A cool hand felt my sweating forehead. Fine? You're burning up. Guess I shouldn't have attempted to escape using the septic system, eh, Doc? Just how on earth did you... It must be the fever talking. A magician never reveals his secrets. With how close quarters the patients lived, I wouldn't be surprised if I got sick from some snot-nosed brat. Realistically, it was probably from me chowing down on dumpster goodies the other day. How did you... you have always been such a joker. Please tell me you were joking. I'll ask you more about your escape once you're as healthy as a horse. The bill-headed man left for a moment, coming back with a select few goodies. Bottle of water, vitamin C packets, and some crackers. Hell yeah, that's a meal that could last me a while. Acevedo lowered himself onto the bed to join me. I rested my head against his shoulder. I could feel his strong muscles underneath his suit. Everything was blurry, but nice. I woke up with an ice pack on my forehead and Acevedo reading in a chair nearby. You're awake. Are you feeling any better? I don't know. My head's still killing me. Drink water. Fevers usually take a couple of days to pass, but you'll be alright. Trust me, I'm your doctor. For the next few days, Acevedo monitored me like a needy mother. I was nervous from all the unnecessary attention, but he never once overstayed his welcome. Whenever he was gone, Kent came in to treat me, but there was something more intimate with Acevedo's way. You're shaking. Are you cold too? No. Good. Let's get you fed. He's gonna force feed me soup. But instead of shoving the spoon down my gullet, Acevedo lightly blew on it. I cooked it myself. Say ah. Am I seriously gonna be spoon-fed like a bed-bound baby? This was humiliating. But with no real energy to stand up, I guess it was all I could do. Ah. I opened my mouth enough to let the soup in. My eyes widened from how delicious it was. He must have spent all day prepping it. Yeah, homemade just hits different. I know. Another spoonful? Ah. Eating like this was surprisingly comforting. Only when I finished swallowing and opened my mouth again did he bring the spoon closer. Other than that, he waited patiently, holding the bowl. If a drop ever spilled from my mouth, he put it down to wipe my face. I didn't have to lift a finger. Eventually, all the soup was gone. You were pretty hungry. I could make another batch if you'd like. And down with a bar of soap? My sailor mouth is foul enough to deserve it. It'll clean my cavities, too. You know, you got a lot of junk in your truck. The sexy psychiatrist will save me from the soppy soap soup. Your jokes are unusual. You should rest. Stay with me. I wish I could, but I have work to finish. I'll be back soon. Good night. My belly was warm, my body was relaxed, and I fell asleep before I could respond. Finally, I woke up with a gasp. My fever broke. Acevedo was snoring in his chair, a half-read book on his lap. Now lucid, I realized that he was next to my desk, jam-packed with months' worth of pills. He never mentioned it. My disturbance woke him up too. With a yawn, he stretched, brushing any wrinkles from his suit. I'm glad you made the full recovery. You were asleep for quite a while. Wait, before you go, can I feel your face? I still want to check you're human. Fevers, you know? My hand slid from his warm neck to his cool head back to his neck. It saddened me that nothing had changed with his head. Hey, thanks for everything. It's my pleasure, Manson. 1 week later. Acevedo must have caught my same bug as he did not show up for a while. Now that several hours of my week were spent lazing around in my bedroom instead of in therapy, I found myself reflecting. It was kind of lonely without him. Who else would praise me or boss me around in the charmingly constructive way he did? Not Kent or Priscilla. Hell, no other staff had the decency to pack an extra sandwich for me just in case I was hungry during therapy. Aww. I buried my face into my pillow, as if I was becoming attached to a stupid doctor. I hoped he was puking his guts out like I did. Then I would be returning the favor, tending to his every need. Would he also like his suit blown upon? Or prefer me in a revealing nurse outfit? No. Stop blushing, Manson. I'm still gonna find a way to escape. Probably. Or not. As soon as Acevedo was back in his office, I welcomed his return with a tight hug. Did something happen? None of your business, you stupid pill bottle. This doctor was growing on me too much. He could answer any question I threw at him with ease. I've learned more about psychiatry than I ever cared to. Acevedo was surprisingly cool, aside from the time he fisted my throat. Fair. More often than not, our therapy sessions now ended with hugs. I enjoyed receiving head pats for good behavior. Mood. Of course, I still misbehaved here or there, and every time I did, I welcomed the cheek pinches and lectures. What can I say? Being nice is boring. Despite this, I continued to lie about taking my medication. Months worth for building up. Every time I picked a pill up, wanting to please Acevedo, something in me just stopped. I couldn't go through with it even when I wanted to. Olé! Today I was in the mood to boogie. The door burst open, revealing me in a flamenco glory. All my flamenco glory. Where did you get that dress? Why are you... I clapped my imaginary castanets while I twirled around him. What better way to show my appreciation for you than through the art of dance? For the grand finale, I dropped into the splits, somehow not tearing my dress. Shall we dance, senor? Acevedo sighed, regaining his composure. You are quite a creative person, but your technique could use some work. What makes you better than me? I have been trained in a variety of dances, mostly Latin American. I know tango, samba, and merengue. It's important to keep your mind and your body active. True, outside of your therapy, it's a lot of lounging around. Once in a blue moon do we go outside to the courtyard or to the local farm. Oh, what if you held the dance class for the entire ward? Acevedo's face flushed. For many of these dances, I need a partner. If you'd like, I can show you real flamenco. What's your favorite? Not Latin per se, but the dance that speaks to you the most is ballroom. Show me what you got, Doc. Absolutely, I have just the perfect vinyl for this. A classical song began playing as his fingers interlocked with mine. What are you doing? Ballroom, of course. It's slow but intimate. 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go, nice and steady. The man guided me on where to place my feet as we twirled around the room. My footwork was stiff and clumsy while his was as light as a ballerina's. He looked so happy. Just us men dancing, holding hands, and dancing in private. I yelped when he lifted me up. Don't worry, I got you. He dipped me down, his bottle face centimeters from mine. And fin. Our faces were bright red and panting. It was too embarrassing to look each other in the eye. Something was weirdly changing between us. I peeled from his grip, rushing out the door. For therapy today, how about we get some fresh air? Though Acevedo called it a courtyard, it was more akin to a mangy backyard. Vines were creeping up the walls while weeds choked the ground. Even so, it was refreshing to be outside and feel the retreat of summer. No patients were out at this time, so we walked along the fence, admiring the flower bed that Kent installed. You must be sweating in that suit. I can manage. Without thinking, he used his tie as a fan. Whew, hace mucho calor. Should I pick up a Spanish dictionary? Perhaps. English is a far much more difficult language to learn than Spanish. Spanish stems from the Romance language with set rules, while English is a hodgepodge of so many other languages. Valid. That sentence itself sounded like a foreign language. How about you teach me some Spanish cuss words, or how to say dick? Verga. It's verga. I laughed. You think I'm funny? You're no Vegas comedian, but you're not bad either. I'm glad you're enjoying this. Nobody else would give me the time of day. What about Priscilla or Kent? Are they your friends? They're my co-workers, but nothing more. They respect me, but not me. I'm too stuffy and uptight for them. As embarrassing as it is to admit, I don't have any friends or family. My parents are long gone. I had a younger brother, but, well, we went our separate ways. Nonsense. You're my friend. Oh, so cute. Acevedo squeezed my hand and blushed. I felt my cheeks burn too. Neither of us are stupid. Our relationship has become more than that. Humans are so complicated. They all strive to be happy and loved, though they don't realize where their journey has taken them, often into trouble. I care about you, Manson, I truly do. But you should find someone else. Would it make you happy if I did? I can't answer that. As much as I want to be with you, I don't want to hurt you or take advantage of your situation. You're not taking advantage of me. I like you. I want you as my therapist and my lover. Not the sergeant doctor, not any fellow patients. Just you. You found me when I was a miserable twerp and dragged me out from that pit. You've sacrificed so much for me, so the least I can do is return that kindness. To calm his nerves, Acevedo slowly breathed in and out. Eventually he nodded his head. If you promise you're okay with this, then I am too. Of course I promise, you bottle-headed dork. Throughout our fallen silence, our hands remained intertwined. Was I supposed to initiate the kiss? Was he thinking the same? Shutting my eyes, I decided to make the move, and so did he. Lips on plastic was the strangest sensation. His head was hard, cold, yet I didn't pry away. Standing on my tippy toes to reach Acevedo's kiss was proving to be difficult, so I broke away gasping. Acevedo's bottle head had developed into a rosy pink. That was my first kiss. Congrats, Doc. How did it feel? Lovely. Very lovely. Yeah, I guess it would make sense. Yeah, because given the time period, and given that he's clearly, homosexual, and in the 80s, yeah, I could absolutely see that, something like that being his first kiss. You hear this? You hear this, and only once. I prefer flings far more than relationships. Consider yourself lucky. Who knows what the furniture woman would have done to me without you, or any of my delusions. I will admit I have enjoyed the challenge of rehabilitating you. It's rewarding seeing you overcome. You're certainly like no other. See you Monday? Yeah, see you Monday. I waved him off, smiling. Suddenly I felt a piercing glare bore through me. It had the intensity of a dagger, sharp enough to send a chill down my spine, but no one else was around. When I entered the office, Acevedo was smiling. Everything was back to normal again, despite our kiss, soap eating, or whatever else I threw at him. But when I saw the happy chuckle and how he ruffled my hair, I knew that wasn't some weird fever dream. Good morning, Manson. Let's begin. Yeah. My heart felt lighter. I wasn't complaining. What's the grin about? If you don't mind, may I hear? It's nothing. I see. I had nothing holding me back on my family or our relationship. It felt relieving, to being honest. Acevedo accepted my eccentrical theatrics, and no matter what, I promised advice, provided advice. We spoke in turns like usual. My family, his family, my life before the ward, then his, then my sex life? Golly, this man wanted to know me inside and out. Man, woman, toaster, I don't particularly care. Toaster? You would not believe the object heads I've seen. I kid you not, a dildo head and a flashlight head would have been wandering through these very halls. The ward houses these perverts? I could always take them off your hands. Just imagine, one working the front and the other working the back. Was that comment supposed to be reference to the fact that, like, yeah, Thug had so much issue with people requesting sex toy object heads to the point where an April Fool's game was made about that concept? The adventures of selling myself out are strange, too. A good chunk of the guys I've been with asked me to wear a dress, claiming they weren't gay as they pulled my long hair and railed me from behind. With a flourish of my arm, my voice took on a sultry tone. I was known as Miss Manson back in the day. Miss? Did you ever identify as a transvestite? Simple as. What, just because I'm a guy, I'm not allowed to wear cute clothes? I mean, it means I must be something else? No, that's not what I meant. You and your assumptions, Doc. All I'm whining about is that they could have easily found a woman to do the same thing, but whatever floats their boat. Acting should have been my career. I could be a cheerleader, your curious stepson, or whatever your heart desires. Don't I make a very sexy patient? I am not sure about that. So you're calling me not sexy? How heartless. I wouldn't say that either. Enough about me. What about yourself? What do you like? What turns you on? Well, it was adorable watching his fuddy-duddy squirm. I had to tease him more. I sauntered closer and closer, sweat still pouring from his pill bottle as he averted his gaze. When I was mere inches from his face, Acevedo zipped his legs crossed. Firmly. So he was enjoying it. I need to think about some things. Many things. Indulge me. Like what? If we're dating, isn't this the natural progression of our relationship? Hey yo, Antonio. The door slammed open, revealing Priscilla. I rapidly backed away into my couch. Oh, did I see something I was not supposed to? Miss Priscilla, what have I told you about barging into my sessions without warning? Oh, lighten up. Your patients need a break once in a while or they'll be climbing up the walls. You're spending so much time with this dork that you've forgotten about me. I'm getting jealous. From her cleavage, Nurse pulled out a pack of cigarettes and a lighter. Damn, she's got a lot of room. Acevedo frowned and scooted her towards the open window. Out the window. You're stinking up the entire room. Those cigarettes are not good for you. You'll regret them in the future. Please, as if you've never smoked before. Yes, a pipe, which I quit ages ago, and I encourage you to. Hey Manny, you want one? Why, of course, Prissy. You two buffoons will be the end of me. Just like that, just saying that, I suddenly feel like Ren from Ren and Stimpy. Both of you outside, now. Therapy is done for the rest of the day. Our butts landed on the hard hallway floor. Don't worry, I won't snitch. You two are cute together. However, if he spills any juicy secrets, be sure that I'm the next person who hears it. She winked, patting me on the back. Priscilla was an odd woman. About 2 weeks later, Acevedo asked an unusual question. Manson, I've been thinking, what if we get out of this office for a bit and do some rehabilitation? Huh? I mean, because of your previous lifestyle choices, we implement some new ones. For example, let's go out in public and cook. I'll teach you how. Is this a date? No. It totally is. He's lying to my face. Whatever you say, Doc. When are we going? How about tomorrow? I heard the weather will be lovely. The next day, we did exactly that. You bought clothes for me? Your outfit provided by the ward is the only one you have, correct? Because they threw out my old jacket. Sure, it was ripped up, but I liked it. But you have newer, more presentable clothes. It would mean a lot to me if you tried it. I stripped where I stood and put on a suit. It was really Acevedo style. Formal, stuffy. I wanted to claw my way out of the suit, but he gleefully fussed over it. Oh good, it fits! You're so thin, but I have an eye for measurements. How do I put on a tie? Oh, let me help you with that. He tied it around my collar as if it was second nature to him. Then again, I've never seen him without a tie. His speed was impressive. Ugh, it doesn't really fit my style. No, you look very handsome in it. Let's go. Acevedo was right to the receptionist, showing her it was okay as we walked outside. He opened the door to the car for me. I bounced on the white leather seats, admiring their softness. So where are we going? Groceries. 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 Wait, now all of a sudden he's in his outfit again? he's in his psych outfit again? Even outside of the ward, Acevedo enjoyed playing his classical music. He hummed alongside the song while I stared out the window. Sorry that the drive is so long. I don't live in Clark County, so I have to drive nearly an hour. We can pass the time by talking. You drive that much every day? How to explain? Well, you do know that the North is heavily industrialized, right? Like making cars? Correct, among manufacturing other things. It's provided jobs to millions of people. Over the years, though, companies realized it was far cheaper to make cars overseas and started packing up. No car production in the States means no jobs, so people started to leave too. Or if they couldn't, well, there were the streets. It's difficult enticing people to move or stay in a town with no income. People begged me to work here and help those who are disadvantaged in life. I accepted because if I didn't, who else would? It was a good choice, otherwise I wouldn't have met you or the wonderful staff like Miss Priscilla or Miss Goodman. We passed miles of Clark County fields and found ourselves in a bustling city. It almost reminded me a bit of the Bronx, though several million people less. You see, I'm taking some screenshots of like typos I find to send them to the thug. Again, they're not game breaking, but you know, as a writer myself, I try to pick up on these things. I trailed behind him until we reached a bright store with various fruits and vegetables outside. The only grocery store I shop at, the freshest and the highest quality. Maybe I'll cook some roast beef later. I have a ceramic French pot for it. Little wine, a little garlic, and voila! It's my specialty. Oh, speaking of garlic, I forgot we were in the aisle. So yeah, again, not to be that guy, but yeah, that's the that's the wrong use of aisle. He grabbed a container off the top shelf and peered closely. Let's see. Yes, this is the one I use. Onwards! A rotund, happily waving, diamond-headed woman was walking towards us. Oh, doctor, you never told me you had a son. He's as handsome as you. Son? Mrs. Clarice, this is not my... I wonder who the lucky lady is, Do you have a picture of her? Her diamond gleamed even brighter. I said this isn't my son. This is a patient I'm currently providing therapy for, Mr. Moss. Mr. Moss? Oh. Yeah, this is a patient I'm currently providing therapy for, Mr. Moss. I have no plans to marry either. I can't believe it, doctor. You're a lovely eligible bachelor and you still don't have a wife or kid? Who's gonna take care of you when you're older? Uncomfortable was an understatement for how Acevedo looked with this woman blabbering on. Oh my, would you look at that time. We have to go. If you would excuse us, ma'am. Oh, sure, doctor. Have a nice day. Once we stepped around the corner and were out of her sight, Acevedo sighed and shook his head. Man, that woman sure was rude. You could say her words were rather calloused, but don't be so quick to judge. In thought, Acevedo momentarily straightened his tie before pointing at me. Think past the surface level of her actions. What do you believe is the reasoning behind what she said? She's, I don't know. You're the psychoanalyzer, not me. In her own little world, she was simply being friendly and wanted to get to know us, specifically me, more. She's a frequent customer in the store and we trade recipes once in a while. She's a nice woman, but she doesn't know our side of the story, though I can't say I'm comfortable revealing such private information. And lastly, because of our differences in age, anyone could have assumed you were my son. At least we corrected her misconception and politely left, but that was incredibly embarrassing. It's important to strip away the fat to find the underlying reason. Don't get caught up in the minor details. It was a genuine misunderstanding, so don't be mad at her. See the good in people, because deep down they truly are. It's a learned skill, Manson, but I know you can do it. Aw, look at him, he's so cute. We then drove, even home cooking, he's got to be wearing a tie. I love it. We then drove to his house and walked inside. His apartment was so spotless that it took me aback. Was that an ironing board with ironed underwear and socks? This man was the neatest of freaks. I watched him put the groceries away. Can you make me steak? I'm afraid I cannot, but I can make some roast beef instead. It's what I'm best at. Anything for meat in my mouth. Ayo. I turned on the TV, looking back every so often to see Acevedo chopping up the ingredients and put them in a pot. A few hours later, he called me over. I took my fork and knife and cut straight through, but Acevedo muttered to himself with his palms together. Amen. Oh, don't mind me. I always say grace before a meal. Now let's begin. Taking that first bite, my world froze. The seasonings were beyond compare. The meat melted in my mouth. This was a new plane of existence I had just ascended to. Oh yeah, a very, very, very good, well-cooked roast. Oh, nothing compares to a well-cooked roast. You're crying. What's wrong? Did you not like the food? No, not that. It's so good. I can't recall ever having a meal that's delicious in so long. Did my mom ever cook? I don't remember. Suppose you should know this. I don't talk about it often, but I'm not from around here either. I ran away from home a long time ago. Ever since then, I've been living on my own, stealing from stores or eating whatever I find in the trash. The ward's food is several times better than what I'm used to, but your cooking is 1,000,000 times an improvement. I could eat this forever. Well, thank you for telling me this. I see why you were agitated when I asked about your parents. You're in a better environment now, Manson. If you would like, I can bring some home-cooked meals for you. Or better yet, as part of your rehabilitation, I will teach you how to cook for yourself. Just imagine, us trading recipes. It's so good. No talking while chewing, Manson, but it is delicious. You have a little sauce on your cheek. Stay still. Hey! The steam coming from my head could have made a kettle jealous. Finally, both our plates were empty and our stomachs stuffed with a warm meal. Acevedo placed down his fork, his gaze unsure of whether to meet mine or the floor. Would you like to stay the night? Uh-oh. If broadcasting is still on this late, right, 80s, we can watch some television. Or would you like me to find a book we'll both enjoy? Anything else up your sleeve? What do you really want? Right. Sighing, Acevedo clasped my hand. He was trembling. Can you make love to me? I brought condoms. They're in the grocery bag. Only if you want to do this, Manson. This is in the privacy of my own home, and I won't force you. If you're really uncomfortable, I can drive you back to the ward and we'll forget this ever happened. Never mind. This is not a good idea. Let me just grab my keys and... Of course I'll do it. Acevedo nuzzled his head against my neck. In return, I grabbed his rear end. Though I couldn't use my tongue, I made sure to go slow. I hoped I was doing this right. Let's take this to my bedroom. Oh boy, now we're getting to the spicy stuff. Great way to end a date, huh? I completely agree. And you denied it being a date. Thank you for spending time with me today. Acevedo climbed off me and laid back on his bed, his chest heaving from our arduous adventure. Yeah, I fell back next to him. That was some damn good beef we had. I could imagine. So this whole day has felt like a dream come true. Suppose I should be honest about my past too. This was my first time with a man, or anyone really. So what's your sexuality? Manson, I'm homosexual. I've never felt any attraction to the opposite sex. Women have approached me before, and I went on excursions to humor them, but I never had any feelings for them. As a gentleman, I paid the bill, but declined further meetings. I've seen Priscilla make googly eyes at you. Is she one of them? Well, several times she's flirted with me, yes, but she means no harm. I believe she's dating someone now. One of my greatest dreams when I became an adult in the free world was to be married and live the rest of my life with someone I cared about. But I believe it was around my teens when I realized what gender I preferred. Men. Never told a soul. Not even my parents, since that was in the 50s? Who knew how they would react? There was a charming man I knew in high school, but I was shy and buried my head into my studies. He was my first crush, and all I ever wanted was to confess my feelings to him, till I learned he had a girlfriend. People around me were finding love and marrying when I was later in medical school. I never found someone like me, which had me worried. It broke my heart that I couldn't fulfill my dream of marriage. I prayed to God for guidance, for I was lonely. I often read the Bible, but one day, many years ago, I came across the passage, "A man should not lie with another man." I felt rather convicted. It was a book I've trusted and followed all my life. What was I supposed to think, being born this way? Was something truly wrong with me? I doubted who I was for a while, even my religion. Finally, I asked my priest what I should do. Do you know what he said? No, what? Acevedo beamed like sunshine. He said not to worry. This was God's plan, since we're created in his image. He made me this way for a reason, because he loves me. So I should love who I want in return. God wants me to be happy, and I found out what makes me so. You. I'm not lonely anymore. Staring me straight in the eyes, he held my hands. I don't think I've ever blushed so hard in my life before. Times are changing. That passage doesn't apply in the modern world. It's a slow progress, but we've made a footprint. Can't wait to see what the future unfolds. But I do hope it'll be legal for us to marry before I'm too old. I don't want any more wrinkles while I'm wearing the tuxedo. Marriage? But we just started dating. Acevedo sincerely believed we were in a match made in heaven. I took a sip of water, trying to clear my head of embarrassment, and this load of information practically dumped on me. I will absolutely not do adult adoption. No, it has to be marriage. I would also make sure to properly take your measurements for the suit. The hem of your pant legs are too long. Oh, before I forget. Acevedo temporarily turned his back to put something on the bedstand. Taking a moment to yawn, Acevedo rested his head on my bare chest. It was an extremely bizarre feeling. With every breath I took, the ridges of his plastic bottle cap scratched me. Though it was uncomfortable, Acevedo's soft, warm arms were hugging me. He was snoring so peacefully that it would have been rude to wake him up by changing positions. As my eyes began to close, I saw a silver glint on the bedstand. It wasn't his rosary, but thinner and boxier like glasses. Before I could think more about the shape, I was out. I'll check in the morning. Wow. So yeah, that was quite a trauma dump. Yeah, you can absolutely tell Acevedo is like so new to the dating scene, despite his age. Yeah, he is absolutely acting like someone would act for their first crush. Well, not first crush, but first love, I suppose you should say. Long time no see, Manson. Where was I? 3 broken heads were suddenly shoved in front of me, blabbering. My good times had to end so soon. Why the long face? I'm trying to have a nice night with Doc, not you 3. We warned you about getting close. It was all a bad idea. If you want us to go away, take your meds. Where are you going to get them right now? The doctor. Great idea. Just open up his cap, eat the pills, and sweet, sweet silence. The hell is wrong with you? That would kill him. He's not even real. Why are you so anxious? I bet he tastes delicious. Like what, though? Barbecue sauce. Yes. You and your obsession. I'm sure he's delicious too, but sweeter. Something you can bite right into. So, cherry? Yes, or strawberry. So we're listing food that's red now? Or watermelon? You need to crack it open and drink the juice inside. Okay, I'll try. Mango. You idiot. Mango's not a red fruit. It's a fruit? As much as a tomato is. That's a fruit too? Take it easy on her. She has no arms to eat it after all. When Manson cracks open the pill, all she has to do is lean forward. Too bad there's no napkins for you. It'll be such a mess, but then the pain will be all over. They're making a mockery of me. Stop bullying me. What about a combination of the sweetest sugary foods in existence? That does make sense. Pills are supposed to be made with sugar, right? Super delicious. Yummy. Then it's all settled. Manson, why don't you do the job? You're closer to him. No. Stop treating this like a joke.
You're a chicken.
Too cowardly to open a bottle of pills. Stop it. Open him. Open him. It, not him. Open it. What are you waiting for, Manson? Open and eat the pills. Shut up! The only sound in the bedroom was Acevedo's wall clock and the light snoring from beside me. That was just a bad dream, right? Though I wanted to say yes and forget such an awful thing ever happened, an iron taste filled my mouth and only worsened my nausea and cold sweating. Right below my nose was my arm. My teeth had viciously punctured the skin. I felt no pain, but my heart was about to burst in my chest. How close was I to... I unlocked my jaw, sending a couple of fresh droplets to land on my chest. Hopefully some band-aids would be enough to cover this wound. Manson, you missed your target. He's only 2 feet older. Worse than a bad dream, this nightmare will never end. Shut up. But my whisper fell on deaf ears. Was it even worth it anymore to keep telling my mind to stop? Acevedo rubbed his wrapper and stared straight at me. It's 2 a.m, Manson. Go back to bed. You are real, right? He again yawned and sat upright, not expecting such a bizarre question. Well, bizarre only to him. Why are you asking such solipsism? Of course I am. This isn't just some fucked up reality where I'm actually in a padded cell, force-fed medicine 24/7 because I've been talking to a little pill bottle the entire time. Because I still don't know what's real and what's not. Acevedo reached across the bed, turned on the nightstand's lamp. The glittering silver on his furniture piece has already gone. Are you alright, Manson? He sees my bite mark, doesn't he? I don't blame him. How are you supposed to react to something like that? No, I'm not. Would you like to talk about it? I wouldn't know where to begin, as if you'd understand anyway. I can do my best too. I frowned. The dream felt like the furniture women were talking about my innermost desires. To what? Understand my condition more? To get to the bottom of how to separate reality from my delusions? If I find pills inside his head, he was a fake. If I find brain, he was alive. Either way, he's a goner. Or was my innermost desire to hurt Acevedo? Yes, he's caused me some grief and fear, but overall, we've been good to each other. I don't want to hurt or kill him. I thought about me not taking my medicine. Again. The whole pill talk was making me nauseous, though. I don't want to think about Acevedo's supposed brains, or what they would taste like. I must have been lost in thought for so long that Acevedo came to his own conclusions. I know what to do. Give me a half hour and your worries will melt away. Acevedo grabbed a bathrobe hanging by the closet and walked out. A light turned on in the kitchen. After slowly breathing out, I got up. Acevedo was humming in an apron, flipping food in the air. Right next to him were fresh blueberries and cut bananas. Thankfully, there were no red fruits on the table. Oh, an early morning to you, sleepyhead. If you'll stayed in bed just 5 more minutes, I would have brought you your pancakes. These pancakes looked delicious. I wanted to shove them all in my mouth and down them with syrup, but I had no appetite. I picked at them. Acevedo was in the back of the kitchen humming and scrubbing down some silverware. Even with the giant butcher knife, he was polished, but rather cute in that apron. When you're finished eating, pass me your plate so I can wash it. Oh, you're not hungry. Sorry. Please eat, for your strength. A roll of bandages sat on the counter as if they were waiting for me. Like on command, I held out my arm and Acevedo wrapped up my bite mark. Does it hurt? It stings a little. Poor thing. I don't need any pity. Just answers. We drove back to the ward, signed back in, and not a single person asked where we'd been. Acevedo walked me back to my room and waved goodbye. Before he left, he kissed me on the cheek. See you in 2 days. I weakly waved back. Yeah, 2 days. What the furniture said wasn't true. What the furniture said wasn't true. Remembering Acevedo's exercises, I breathed in and out. But why was my chest clamping up? As autumn progressed, so did my paranoia. Oh, so we completely skipped through summer. A groove in the floor was forming by my incessant pacing.
Acevedo only got close to keep an eye on you. Did you really think you could escape his grasp?
But he took me outside instead of locking me away.
Only for the smallest taste of freedom. Like a puppy on his first walk. And you fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. Why must we baby someone so gullible?
I felt his body. How soft and warm it is. He's real. While you were sick and tired, all a fever dream. You're lying.
Honestly, Acevedo is the better liar. He's strung you along this entire time. He shook you around, pinned you down, and violated your throat with his fist. Whatever happened to do no harm, he stole your tinfoil hat, leaving you defenseless. That monster took advantage of you. Deny all you want, but we're only providing the truth. We'll remind you every day, every hour, until it drills through your thick skull.
Okay. I'm sorry. We're the only ones you can rely on, Manson. We're your closest friends. Sir, you're shaking. Is everything all right? He's a spy, Manson. A spy. Doc sent you, didn't he? Excuse me? No, I came over because I was worried. And then he'll report to Acevedo, who will then report to the aliens. All the nurses are in cahoots. Danger was all around me. I couldn't eat. I couldn't breathe. I was so scared. I couldn't rely on anyone but the furniture. I rocked back and forth on the chair as Acevedo looked on in concern, though I was sure it was malice. Manson, please, I'm begging you, talk to me. I don't like you shutting down. You've come so far and now you're regressing. The furniture are the true psychiatrists. You're a phony. The man rushed me and gripped my shoulders. That's not true. The furniture are the phonies. Remember that all we've accomplished together. Dig deep inside. Have I ever hurt you? Don't touch me, you alien freak. Stay away. I hate you. Shoving Acevedo aside, I fled the office. Trust us, not them. Trust us, not them. Trust them, not us. Everyone here has ruined my life. Maybe I will take those meds, but not from Acevedo's skull.
The medication allowed your mind. We just want to do
I say, yeah, I will say the audio mixing is just... Yeah, the audio mixing with the voice lines are just not the best. I'll just be blunt.
You're trapped. Acevedo caught on his hand. What will you do after that? Manson is doomed.
I threw open the drawer. Hundreds of unused pills were there. Oh my gosh, even the pill's a woman. One of the pills rolled on the floor. Before my very eyes, it sprouted a human body.
You couldn't eat Acevedo. You lack the heart to eat me. Don't hurt me. You're not a murderer, Manson. Don't do it.
Oh jeez. My eyes darted between the women and my pills. Snort them all or swallow them all? Oh jeez. Well, if we gotta do all of them. How's this? Enjoy your dosage, fuckers. I'll see you in hell. I grabbed a fistful of pills and shoved them into my mouth. This detergent rubber death taste was absolutely gaggable, but pill after pill I chewed them up. With a big smile on my face, I grabbed another cluster. You don't know what you're doing. That'll never get rid of us. No matter what you do, we'll be here forever. Stop that. Stop. The mob vanished by the fourth fistful. I was calmer than I'd ever been. It was all over. With a relieved sigh, I brushed off any crumbs of pills off me. My chest hurt. Yeah, no duh. Acevedo sprinted through the doorframe to catch me right in the act. Please come back. Let's work this out together. Manson Alexander Moss, what in God's name do you think you're doing? Nurse! Nurse! A patient is overdosing on antipsychotics! I coughed up some pills, though it felt more like vomiting. I hurt. I hurt so much. Kent rushed in, then Priscilla, then Randall. I hate you. I hate you. The furniture put you up to this. You never did anything for me. You're just like the rest. I crumbled to the floor. Not only could I not move my body, I felt nothing. So this is how I was gonna die, in a puddle of my own drool and vomit. I know CPR. Priscilla, call 911 now, and get the AED. 29, 30. Manson, stay with me. Breathe, damn it. 1, 2. The world went black. Do you think it was suicide? If so, I haven't seen anything like it. How did he get a hold of so many pills? He's lucky he coughed everything up. There's a reason why we control medicine, to prevent overdosing idiots like him. Oh boy, now he's in the padded room. When my vision cleared, I found myself surrounded by a blinding white room, whiter than anything I've seen in the ward. My mouth was drier than a desert. Worse was my headache. I felt like I was bludgeoned with a baseball bat. Huh? Sir, he's awake. Oh, thank heavens. Should I take his vitals again? In a moment. There were 3 voices I could barely make out, belonging to 3 blurry figures above. One had a high-pitched stutter, one was raspy from years of smoking, and one had a thick foreign accent. The latter figure, clad in orange and blue, squatted down in front of me. I put on the bravest smile I could muster, though it looked more akin to a wince. Hey, Doc. Lovely weather we're having, eh? Manson. I attempted to stand up, but something was restraining me. A tight jacket was wrapping my upper half in pace, giving me the most uncomfortable hug ever. I can't move my arms. A straitjacket, for your own safety. Just make sure you wouldn't hurt yourself. We'll take it off shortly, don't worry. Kent must have noticed me licking my lips as he unscrewed a water bottle and placed it up to my mouth. Once I was adequately hydrated, Acevedo's tone became softer. What do you remember? We're not angry, we just want to know what happened. He's lying. There was nothing I could sugarcoat without digging myself into a deeper hole. I almost killed myself. All the choices I made had finally reared their ugly heads. This wasn't something I could weasel my way out of or apologize for like I had for the past several months. It wouldn't be unreasonable for them to stick me in this straitjacket with a padded cell for the rest of my life. It's not fair. My prize-winning smile began to crumble. I couldn't hold back my tears. I tried to be good. I really did try. But it's so difficult when you never know what is real or not. Nothing has made sense for half a year. Do this, do that. Trust us. Don't trust them. So I got rid of the furniture woman the only way I could. I didn't want to die. All I ever wanted was to go home and see my family. By now, I was wailing at the top of my lungs, unable to stop the torrent of emotion bursting out of me. Acevedo and Kent looked down in pity while Priscilla rubbed her arms and turned her head away from the group. Mr. Goodman and Miss Harbinger, could you please step outside? I want to speak with my patient privately. Right away, sir. Please let us know if you need any help. Thank you. The door closed, leaving only me and my doctor confined in this tiny white room. Please don't leave me. Please don't leave me alone with these voices. I'm begging you. Of course I won't leave you. I'm thankful you're alive. I was so scared when I found you. I don't know what I would ever do without you. I did not want his pity party. I attempted to worm myself away till my face smacked into a surprisingly soft floor. Acevedo was not deterred by my struggling and untied the straps on my jacket's backside, allowing my arms to move once more. I don't understand why you're so nice. I don't deserve you. No, I don't deserve you. Contrary to what others perceive, though you may be already aware, I am not perfect. Often my emotions get the best of me, and yet we found each other. No man is an island, and by being in your company, you have helped me discover more about myself, for better or for worse. As both your doctor and partner, I'll do anything in my power for you. Me and all the staff in the ward. We support you, Manson Moss. No matter what, help us help you. I hugged Acevedo with all my might, as if I would never let him go. I felt his soft skin, his pulse, his warm breaths against my forehead. He truly was a flesh and blood being. Acevedo motioned for the restless staff to come inside before embracing me back. Helping me up, Acevedo and I walked outside the padded cell. My heart felt lighter than ever. Though I was out of the frying pan, I wasn't free from the fire. Every day onwards, the nurses kept a careful eye on me. My pockets and the roof of my mouth were checked if I truly swallowed my pills. Raise your tongue. And that too. Ugh, I'll never get used to their bitter taste. After my incident, the furniture women never appeared again. Though anticlimactic, I was relieved there was never a final battle of the wits. Good. Good for you, Manson. I know I feel bad that I'm not really giving much commentary, but this is absolutely fantastic writing. I knew they were still lingering in my head, waiting for me to give up, but I'll never give them that satisfaction, so long as I took my pills. I watched as Bella put the bottle back on the shelf, ready to be used for tomorrow. Aside from that, everything went back to normal in the ward. Kent was rushing around like usual, Priscilla smoking a cigarette through an open window, and Acevedo meeting me in therapy. Top of the morning to you. Look at the pep in your step. Recently, Acevedo and I were looking at job opportunities and living arrangements. Next to us was a leaf-decorated calendar on his desk. that he was flipping through. Would you look at the time fly? It's almost Thanksgiving. Do you have anything you're thankful for? Maybe I do. Same as well. When the day comes, I'll be making a beautiful honey-glazed turkey, accompanied by mashed potatoes and buttered bread rolls. Wow. Is there anything you can't cook? Steak. Are you still bothered by that? In my pursuit to cook both sides perfectly even, I feverishly flip it, only to find one side a nanogram shade darker. I hopelessly repeat this process until everything is burnt. This also applies to other meats, which is why I usually preferably stick to my precious oven and crockpot. We shared a laugh while he flourished his arm, continuing to talk about his planned feast. Seriously, that sounds delicious. I could hear my stomach growling right now. And what's for dessert? Ice cream. All homemade. Homemade ice cream? Bruh, can I marry this man? Squeezing my hand, we smiled kindly. Manson, you've changed tremendously since I first met you. We had our ups and downs, scares and surprises, but you've come stepping out a much-made man. I'm proud of what you've become. You don't have much time left in the ward. Seventh months pass so fast. 7. Yeah. How about tomorrow, before I sign your release papers, we'll have our last special appointment. I agreed. It felt just like yesterday I woke up in my bedroom, screaming my head off. Freedom was at hand. Sounds like fun, Doc. See you tomorrow. The door knocked. I already knew who it was. Good morning, Manson. I wonder what we'll talk about today. Therapy, among other things. Okay, just straight to the point. The way he stripped while making full eye contact with me was the sexiest thing he could do. Now that we're in full light, I could admire every nook and cranny of his beautiful tan body. Ballsy move to do this in the middle of the room. Let's make our way to the bed, shall we? For our therapy session. Ho ho. Sure, yeah, well, let's go with that, Acevedo. What a visual this is. What a fantastic visual this is. Oh, wow. Okay. Yep, this was worth it. This was the sort of stuff I was expecting. Oh, so this is how I see his face for the first time. Gotcha. This is the situation I see his face for the first time. Interesting. Not gonna lie, this is actually not quite what I was expecting. I was honestly expecting him to look more like Gomez Adams, if I'm being completely honest. Hey, still a good look for him. I'll give him that. Again, I kind of wish this wasn't the first instance I was seeing his face for the first time. As I rubbed my eyes, I saw a charcoal-haired man sitting on top of me panting. His glasses were crooked and what looked like originally neat hair was falling in front of his face. I want to say that I've never seen him before, but I immediately recognized the color of the tan skin. Was that my psychiatrist? That's what he's looked like all along? Faint wrinkles adored his well-aged face, and tears from pleasure were forming at the corners of his equally dark eyes. Dr. Acevedo was so handsome. I'm not that young anymore. Oh, my back. Same call voice and everything too. No mistake now. For the first time in several weeks. Several weeks? It's been months, bro. I finally had a true and pure human instead of my object-headed delusions. I pinched my cheek to make sure I wasn't dreaming. No, the human's head in front of me did not revert to its pill bottle. Acevedo sensed something different about me. He tried to comb his hair to the side with a smile. Are you alright, young man? Out of emotion and genuine relief, tears started to well. Hey, it's okay. Tell me what's wrong. I'm so happy. He placed his hand onto my cheek, trying to wipe away the tears. Without another word, I threw myself forward and brought my face closer to his. I kissed him deeply, more passionately than with anyone else I've been with. Okay. Yep, so we're still going with this. I wasn't kissing plastic anymore. I was kissing a living and breathing human again. Acevedo relaxed from my sudden movement and reciprocated my makeout session with the same amount of fervor. My awkward bending over position caused us to fall forward to where Acevedo was on his back with me on top. Even better. Yep, okay. How was that? See. I pulled out and laid right next to him. Acevedo was the first to break our panic silence. So, you'll be living in my house now. Don't forget your promise. In response, my next kissing target was his neck, causing the man to slightly chuckle. He clasped my hand. I promise, Doc. Then let us get dressed. The sign release paper was in my hand. My heart grew so light I felt like I was floating. Thankfully, there wasn't much to pack. Some clothes and reading 101 books, except for Acevedo's portrait of a duck-headed me. The longer I looked at it, the less terrifying it seemed, so I shrugged my shoulders and chucked it into my bags. Oh, he is so handsome. Yeah. It really is weird seeing an actual head on him now. It really is, but he looks good. He actually looks really great. I had to squint my eyes when I exited the reception area. Has this guy always been this blue? My friends joined us outside, waving us goodbye. Bye, Priscilla. Bye. Oh, wait, are we going to see the rest of them? Bye, Priscilla. Bye, Kent. Oh, no, not in this route, I guess. Yeah, I guess it makes sense to only see them in their route. Take care, sir. It was nice knowing you. Peace, dorks. Antonio, it's up to you to update me how Manson... Antonio, it's up to you now to update me on Manson gossip. As if it was up to consideration. If you wish to converse, meet us outside in a more appropriate setting. Ah, he never changes. To the car, shall we? Acevedo opened up the passenger side like he was a chauffeur. When the engine started, my stomach loudly growled. Not again. I guess I kind of skipped breakfast for our super therapy session, eh? Then let us go home, because I want to start cooking my turkey. After all, you still haven't tried it yet. Oh, by the way, there's an opera concert I was interested in that opens in December. Would you like to join me? Definitely. You'll have to put on a suit, though. You looked great in it, don't worry. And we drove off, never looking back. Come on, Doc, the collar's too tight. That's because you won't sit still. Ah, there we go. Oh my, now your hair is all messed up. Oh hey, you got a haircut. I just noticed. Manson got a haircut. Doc, I'm only trying to make you look presentable for the big day. As you wish, Mr. Perfect. Ah, ow. He pinched my cheek. Don't forget after this to start the car. I'll be at a conference the day you get your GED test, so you need to drive on your own. It's been a hectic amount of weeks since I left the ward. With Acevedo looking after me, he turned into the ultimate fussy mother. A day hasn't passed where my cheek remained unpinched from using improper manners. I'm not even safe when he leaves for work. Worst part of all, I agreed to let him cut my hair. Bet I fooled someone with my dramatics. During our time together, I decided to apply for acting school. Acevedo would pay for it, but only if I finished my previous education. Every so often, I drop by the ward to see my old crew. They were always glad to see me. As of now, Acevedo stood in the cleared living room, his arms outstretched. He had on his blue suit as always. I, however, was wearing my pinstripe suit. Today we decided to have a momentous occasion, a private wedding. It was not official, but Acevedo, the romantic as always, insisted we have one. Again, I apologize for no official priest to preside. I never finished entering the clergy, so I hardly count. He pulled out 2 silver bands, one for him and one for me. I, Antonio, take you, Manson, to be my lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold from this day forward. For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do us part. And then you repeat, using your name instead. I, Manson, take you, Doc. Antonio, please. This is a special occasion. Take you, Antonio, to be my lawfully wedded husband, till death do us part. We kissed, happy to be one. A new life awaited, free from any nonsense, aliens, or whatever the world threw at us. Ending 3. Doctor, everything will be alright. You know, I really hadn't planned to do Acevedo first, but you know what? All things considered, I'm glad. Because Thug did recommend doing Acevedo's first, so I'm glad it worked out that way. Wow. Wow. That was great. Yeah, I got Acevedo first, and Acevedo good ending on my first try. There weren't that many choices, to be fair. But I do like, the Thug pointed out that, the save state shows you what route you're on. So at least I can understand, like, how my pathing. Okay. So yeah, it seems that the Acevedo route is like basically like the Emmy route of this one, where it's just like so easy to get it. But I'm glad I did. I'm absolutely glad I did. I'm gonna stop this video for now because I have been recording for I've been recording for 3¼ hours, so I need a break. But this was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. What a great start. I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to upload videos of the rest of the routes, because I do highly encourage you guys to check this out and support Thug. Again, the team behind this has been working for 6 years on this project. They deserve all the love and support. So yeah, I'll leave a link in the description for you to check it out. If you made it this far, thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, that'll do it for me. So we'll see if I do the other routes. Or I might do a way where I do every other route, but I won't go through all the endings of that route, because again, I want you guys to experience this for yourself. But yeah, so the link to the itch page is in the description, and yeah, I will catch you guys next time. Take care.